Not to bring up more old ghosts, but when the Normans conquered in 1066, William was backed by the Pope. The Anglo-Saxons had a local legal system that was oral and tribal, and William replaced it with a Latin-based bureaucracy. This is the Domesday Book. It was written in Latin. Anglo-Saxon power was spread across tribes and communities. They were called hundreds and shires. Land was held by free peasants, ceorls, and local thanes. There was no single registry of all the land. Local assemblies, folkmotes, made collective decisions, and land could be passed by agreement and reputation. To the Normans, that was chaos. It was commissioned by William the Conqueror in 1085. It's just a giant medieval ledger, a census, a tax roll, an asset map. It listed everyone who held each piece of land before the Norman conquest and after, and what that land was worth. So how many livestock it had, how many mills, how many woods, fisheries, peasants that would work it, how much taxes could be extracted. This was the bedrock of our current feudal legal system. Commoners became tenants on the land that they had once freely lived on, and this logic follows through to crown estates, lease laws, hereditary peerage, and the fact that 0.06% of the people owns more than half the land of England. This made England the most surveyed country in Europe, a moment where the world was measured, priced, and taken. The book was written in Latin, which was the language of the church who had backed William's conquest. So in Britain, Norman French becomes the language of law, land titles, nobility, the king's court. So if you couldn't speak or read French, you couldn't defend your land. You couldn't navigate the legal system. It locked both Anglo-Saxon and Celtic people completely out of governance. Even centuries later, British legal system is still riddled with French words. Attendez, leasehold, dispossession, and enclosement was literally written into law in a language no one spoke. And Old English became the language of peasants and slaves, the uneducated, the voiceless, deliberately excluding people from law and literature and record keeping for over a century. Eventually, Middle English emerges, which is an amalgamation of Old English and French, but by then the damage was done. The English-speaking poor continue to be locked out of law, as it's written today in a language that they don't speak. If you feel disconnected from your democracy, it's because you were never meant to be a part of it. The British aristocracy clings to its titles and its heritage, not because it's tradition. Maintainers of tradition. No. It's trying to maintain the illusion of its conquest.